Hey everybody, it's Christine up for Paper House Productions today, showcasing another of their newer papers. They released a whole bunch of patterned papers this winter, and this one, as you can see, has a beach theme to it. And one of the cool things about today's layout is that I really primarily just use one patterned paper. Now I use the front and back, so two sheets of the same patterned paper to create this whole layout. So that's kind of a unique aspect and one of the things that makes Paper House really cool. They have great papers and sometimes you can really get some great bang for your buck with just paper and not a lot of other supplies. As you can see right now, I am cutting apart these waves. This paper has kind of a watercolor look going on along with some mixed media splatters and white and such. And so I wanted to roll with that a little bit, but I wanted to add a trendy twist to it. So I am going to give it the look of torn paper without tearing because I want a little more precision. But I'm going to give it that look and I'm going to have just layers and layers and layers of this beach scene. So cutting them all apart kind of loosely, following the white lines that are already on the paper. I'm not getting all the little details and stuff in there because it's just not going to be necessary for this technique. But this is a really fun way to take a traditional patterned paper and put your own spin on it. One of the things that I love to do with patterned papers is just look at them and go, what can I do with this paper that is different? What can I do that's unique? Because paper is the cheapest supply out there, right? You can buy most patterned papers for less than $1.50. And if you can figure out something cool to do with that, you can really make things stretch. And then just use the additional embellishments on a more moderate level and keep this hobby affordable, be frugal, all those fun things. So you see I've got it all cut apart there, and then I'm going to take my next step, which is going to be pulling in a cardstock background. Cardstock background is not going to show it all, so I'm just going through my supply and saying, okay, what do I have a lot of that I don't use a lot of? So I just pull out this tan one, which kind of happens to match the color of sand, just coincidentally. I do kind of try when I'm doing that to pick out something that if a little part of it pokes out, it won't disturb the layout too much. So I didn't want to pick like a purple one or something. But otherwise I look for, okay, what color do I have a lot of that I don't mind using? So you'll rarely see me use white if I'm going to be covering the whole thing up. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is begin to reassemble the whole thing using the pieces that I have cut out. I am going to use the Easy Runner Grand from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L, and I'm specifically going to use the permanent dots roller in there because that one it's not like a tape runner, it's dots. So the dots will adhere to where I put it, but it won't overlap. I hope that makes sense. I think you can kind of see as I go. Versus like if it was the traditional tape runner, there might be some that hangs over, and I don't want that. And so the dots works really nicely in this. Now, as you can see, I'm just putting one line of it across the bottom, and then I'm tucking that bottom underneath the previous wave and then rolling things up. And I'm gonna just do that over and over and over until I build up the top. Jumping ahead a little bit, you see that it is coming together really nicely, and you can also see how strong my adhesive is. I pointed it out earlier, but I do want you to make note, like you can see how I am pulling on the top of that paper, pulling not gently and like rubbing my hand across the top of it, all in the effort to distress it and give it that torn look. And so that is working out just fine using that permanent dot adhesive. Now, I'm going to get to the top here, and I'm going to have to make a decision. First of all, I've shrank the size of the paper because I'm tucking it underneath. So adding on the layers is not going to create a full 12 by 12 page. I also don't really want to use the entire sandy look up top, but I do want to use some of it. And so I'm going to have to kind of just play with it and see how far up I want to go and then what I want to do there next. And right there was a perfect example. Look how strong that adhesive is for holding those waves on there where I was just rubbing my hand and pulling that part back. Kind of fun when you can just go crazy like that with paper. And since it's having the look of tearing, even if I were to tear the paper a little bit, no big deal. It's kind of the goal. So you can see I've got this last layer of sand on. In the end, I'm going to add a little bit more on the left side, but for now, I'm just going to go with that. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is get my picture on there. I kind of wanted to do a multi-photo layout. However, I really liked the way this looked with this one specific picture. And it is just a picture of my son at the beach looking out at the waves. And there was a lot going on in our world at that point, so there's more behind the story of it that I'll journal about on the backside. But I love that it's kind of a poignant, thoughtful picture, and I feel like the feel of the layout already is brought out even more by that. Definitely not a lighthearted or whimsical feeling layout at this point. It's got some very classic artistic elements to it that just kind of set a different mood than I might have on a lot of my normal layouts, which is great. There's something to be said for stepping out into a little bit of a different mood, personality within your scrapbooking when it's necessary, when it's good for your brain to do that. And if you're anything like me, sometimes you craft just because you have time and you love it. Sometimes you craft just because your brain needs that break. And as I'm working on this is one of those weeks where I just kind of need my brain to settle down and relax. And maybe I don't even feel like crafting. However, it's a great way to get your brain to relax, calm down, settle, all those things. And so here I am working away, and I think my mood is coming out a little bit on this layout, which is fun. Now, carrying on, you can see that I've kind of added a title up top. I put that on there very loosely because I'm just not sure I'm committed to that. Number one, being the title, and number two, staying there. I'm not loving the font with this one specifically. It's a little bit too traditional and classic for the look that I have going on right now. That said, I don't have another idea at this point. So I put it on there for now, and we'll just kind of see where things land. Also see that I'm adding a bunch of seashells down there. Now those seashells all came from the back side of the original paper. So like I said, I used 2 sheets of it, one side for the front and one side for the back. And those were really easy to cut out. They're just starfish, not real detailed cutting at all. And I am just popping those up with some 3D foam adhesive and creating a row of them along the bottom. Lots of cool texture and dimension going on throughout this layout. I'm also going to pull out some older cardstock stickers from Paper House, and I'm just going to add this on there. I don't know the proper name for that, but the log thing that sticks out of the water along docks and stuff. I'm going to add that because I just like the touch that it adds to it. I have probably used that sticker on 3 or 4 different beach layouts. For whatever reason, I just really love that specific sticker from Paper House and find that I like to put it on my beach layouts. So I will. That said, I'm also kind of looking at, is there any other stickers that would work in here to use on that? There really isn't, and so I'm going to just not mess with the good thing. I like what I've got going on here. I am going to switch out the title, so you will not see the title in the final picture. What I do is add some gold mist splatters up there at the top, and I'm going to pull those letter stickers up and have more mist splatters, and then I'm going to just add a simple cutout title that says Ride Waves. And I didn't go with Ride the Waves. I went with Ride Waves. Again, just having to do with what our family life was looking like at that time and telling this little guy's story through a scrapbook page. Thank you so much for being here today. Be sure to check these products all out at Paper House Productions, and we will see you again next time.